Nationwide protests quickly take to the streets after Memphis police released the video of the arrest of Tyre Nichols that eventually led to his death. We're choosing not to show the more graphic moments to you this morning, but it started with a traffic stop. Officers accused Nichols of driving recklessly. In the video, Nichols goes to the ground, but police continue to yell at him to lay down because he's on his side instead of his stomach. Eventually, Nichols gets up, is tased, and takes off. He's just 3 houses away from his parents' home when officers catch up with him. Tyre is heard screaming for his mom as he is pepper sprayed several times. The part we're not showing you this morning is when officers are seen kicking and punching his face and beating him with a baton, all while his hands are held behind his back. Now, this video goes on for several minutes. When it's over, it takes another 20 minutes for paramedics to show up. Tyre Nichols was brought to a hospital in critical condition and died 3 days later. His mother asked the nation to fight for justice for her son, but in a peaceful manner.
No mother should go through what I'm going through right now. No mother. To lose their child to the violent way that I lost my child. Thank you.
The officers involved have all been fired and arrested. All of them, here on your screen, are out of jail on bond. They are each charged with murder. The chief of police added she reviewed the video footage herself and says she found no evidence of Nichols driving recklessly. A protest starts in New York City after the arrest video is released, and one person is arrested for allegedly jumping onto a police cruiser in Times Square. You can see him punch and kick the windshield before officers grab him. Now, the new video has many Americans upset and praising the decision to fire and arrest the officers involved. But some here in Orlando are wondering what they can do to show their support. Fox 35's Matt Trezza is live in Orlando for us this morning. Matt, we spoke with those who were heavily involved in organizing local protests and demonstrations after the death of George Floyd in 2020.
Yeah, and there were protests in Orlando in the wake of George Floyd's death, and it did lead to changes in city policy and Orlando law enforcement policy as well. Let's take a look at a rundown of some of those. In response to the city's protests, Mayor Buddy Dyer and then Police Chief Orlando Rolone announced a community trust and equity initiative. Orlando police banned chokeholds and no-knock warrants. They put together neighborhood patrol units with a diverse team aiming to connect as many people as possible. Police also hired mental health professionals to respond to people in crises and appropriate cases, and they started a junior reserve law enforcement program at a local high school. Now, activists locally here say in the wake of Tyre Nichols' death, the focus should be on police's use of force.
Any people from any community, from any culture, given the right circumstances, can abuse their authority, and that's what we have, plain and simple, here.
Now, in the wake of George Floyd's death, the city also hired its first equity officer. That's a person whose job is to make sure that all city policy is fair, equal, and accessible to all. We're live in downtown Orlando. Matt Trezza, Fox 35 News.
Matt, thanks so much. President Joe Biden shared his thoughts on the video, writing, quote, "Nothing can bring Mr. Nichols back to his family, but his whole family deserves a quick, full, and transparent investigation." While addressing the media, he once again called on Congress to pass the George Floyd Justice in Policing Act.
We should get this under control. I can only do so much in an executive order at a federal level. What's at stake is, first of all, innocent people's lives, number one. Number two, it has a lot to say and do with the image of America.
And here's what Vice President Kamala Harris had to say. She writes, quote, "The persistent issue of police misconduct and use of excessive force in America must end now. I join President Biden in his call for accountability and transparency." This is a developing story with many more updates to come in the coming weeks and months. You can find our extended coverage on the Fox 35 News app. We'll be sure to send you instant alerts anytime new developments are made in the Tyre Nichols case.